following is a presentation of HBO Sports.
Atlantic City, New Jersey. Less than 3 weeks ago, Hurricane Sandy ravaged this seaside community, leaving the city underwater and its historic boardwalk in ruins. In the days and weeks since the disaster, signs of rebirth have steadily emerged as South Jersey begins to rise again. Tonight, one more step in the return to normalcy as big-time boxing arrives again at Boardwalk Hall. It's a highly anticipated matchup in the lightweight division as Mexican warrior Antonio DeMarco brings his all-action style and his title belt into the ring.
Antonio DeMarco is dangerous, a southpaw puncher with speed.
His opponent, Adrien the Problem Broner, who many believe to be the sport's next American superstar.
Good straight right hand, and down goes Perez.
Time will tell, as DeMarco is considered the stiffest test by far in Broner's skyrocketing career. Also tonight, it's heavyweight action as rising star Seth Mitchell returns 7 months removed from his back-from-the-dead knockout victory over Chaz Witherspoon.
Hard right hand, and the left of the body, and down goes Witherspoon.
A man known as Mayhem matches up with once-defeated Johnathon Banks. Tonight, the boxing community embraces the return to Atlantic City as the Jersey Shore continues to pick up the pieces. World Championship Boxing is next.
Welcome to another edition of HBO's World Championship Boxing, live from Boardwalk Hall in Atlantic City on a section of the boardwalk which was spared significant sandy damage. Tonight's doubleheader features two of the fastest rising American stars in the sport and figures to supply plenty of action. Our main event pits 135-pound titleist Antonio DeMarco of Mexico against the fast hands and devastating power of Cincinnati's Adrien Broner. But we'll start things off with heavyweight action as Seth Mitchell looks to continue his 10-fight knockout streak against once-defeated Johnathon Banks. Hello again, everybody. I'm Jim Lampley. We welcome you to this special HBO doubleheader, which comes as the culmination of a week of both extraordinary grief and majestic celebration in the boxing world. Tuesday, thousands of us gathered in Detroit to memorialize the life of the great Emanuel Steward. It was an unforgettable gathering to commemorate incomparable grief. And what a star-studded lineup. 5 legitimate heavyweight champions and 4 pound-for-pound #1 types sat together in the front 2 rows, along with hundreds of others in the audience who were touched by Emanuel Steward through his years of stewardship for the Kronk Gymnasium in Detroit. Emanuel Steward passes observed as if not the greatest and most influential trainer in the history of the sport, certainly one of a tiny handful of candidates for that honor. Working with me as always this evening, HBO boxing analyst Larry Merchant, who joined me in Detroit for that memorial service. Larry, your epitaph for our dear departed friend.
He was, as a colleague and friend, so full of grace and kindness, and so full of passion and total immersion in boxing. I don't feel that I fully appreciated, absorbed just how important a figure he was in Detroit, that he was an inspirational hero to the people who knew him best. He was a good man made of common clay and stardust. And I also want to recognize his longtime companion and business aide, Anita Ruiz, who will also be missed at ringside. in these coming fights.
All right, thank you, Larry. And very shortly at ringside, we'll be joined by Roy Jones Jr., who has delivered his own stirring epitaph for Stewart on a Boxing After Dark telecast a couple of weeks ago, just following the great man's death. Meanwhile, there can be no more poetic nor painful transition now to the first fighter you'll see this evening, because Johnathon Banks entered the Kronk Gym in Detroit as a 15-year-old and spent 15 years as a protege and student of Emanuel Stewart, both as a fighter and ultimately as a trainer. And though he's been training for the past 8 weeks in preparation for this fight, when Stewart became ill, he was delegated to take over the duty of training Vladimir Klitschko for his heavyweight championship defense last Saturday night against a fighter named Mariusz Bach. And then from there, Banks traveled back from Europe to be at the memorial service on Tuesday. It's almost impossible to imagine that he is tightly focused on his assignment in the ring against Seth Mitchell tonight. But nevertheless, here comes a grieving Johnathon Banks to try to do the best he can under these circumstances. Let's spend a minute with Johnathon Banks.
Everything I know about boxing, pretty much, I learned from Emanuel. From a fighter standpoint, from a training standpoint, just the moving in the ring, the rhythms, I learned from him. We always had a very, very good relationship. It wasn't like a normal trainer or manager. It was like a mentor / a father figure. We talking about a great friend, a great mentor, you know, and I'm definitely gonna miss his smile and his and his conversations. The experience training Vladimir was of none other, you know. You got one of the biggest heavyweight champions in our history. It's almost like a surreal moment training this guy. But I just stuck with what I've learned, and we had a successful night.
Banks began his career as a cruiserweight and spent most of his career fighting time there. His only loss was to cruiserweight star Tomas Adamek. Since moving up to heavyweight, his performances have been less than satisfactory to him and to everyone around him. He has asserted that tonight he's going to produce the kind of performance he's been dreaming about in the heavyweight division. He will need it as he's taking on the hottest and fastest rising American heavyweight in the business, former Michigan State football star Seth Mitchell. As you watch Banks, you turn your attention to Mitchell, who took up boxing at age 25 after a career as a star linebacker at Michigan State ended with 7 different knee surgeries. It's unheard of for a fighter to take up boxing at 25 after that particular kind of physical setback and to produce what Mitchell has produced. He is coming in here off of a 10 knockout streak. Let's spend a minute with Seth Mitchell.
The first time I stepped into the ring was 4 months before my 25th birthday. My father figures were my godparents and my football and basketball coaches, so I had a lot of role models, you know, growing up, even though my father was absent. Played football at Michigan State in 2001 on a full-ride athletic scholarship. I played middle linebacker. I was known as a ferocious hitter. Hurt my knee, had a couple of knee operations, had to give up football. I've broken collarbones in football. I've had 4th and 1 stops. I've knocked helmets off. But the feeling that I got when I knocked my 3rd opponent out with a left hook, knocked him cold, it was exuberating. I have to say that's the best feeling that I've had thus far in my career as far as, you know, as far as sports.
It would be unprecedented for a fighter to first enter the gym at nearly 25 and rise to an elite position in the game. But it's also unprecedented for someone like Johnathon Banks, who, if he wins tonight, could actually face Vladimir Klitschko, who he has sparred with for 8 years and trained for his last fight.
Like all heavyweights, they're dreaming of a Klitschko. Let's go to Michael Buffer for the official introductions.
Ladies and gentlemen, good evening and welcome to the legendary Boardwalk Hall, Atlantic City, New Jersey, USA, where tonight Golden Boy Promotions is proud to present An evening of world-class professional boxing for your entertainment, live on HBO. Sponsored by Caesars Atlantic City, Corona Extra, La Cerveza Más Fina, AT&T, the nation's largest 4G network, AT&T Rethink Possible. This contest presented in association with K2 Promotions and sanctioned by the New Jersey State Athletic Control Board. Tonight's entire card, ladies and gentlemen, is dedicated to the memory of those whose lives were lost in the Hurricane Sandy tragedy and in honor and support of all the recovering people after the aftermath. At ringside, ladies and gentlemen, the three judges scoring this bout will be Joseph Pasquale, Valeska Roldan, and Alan Rubenstein, and inside the ring, in charge of the action at the bell, referee Big Eddie Cotton. And now let's get this party started. 12 rounds of boxing for the NABO and vacant WBC International Heavyweight Championships. Introducing first, fighting out of the red corner, wearing blue trimmed with chronic gold, officially weighing 218 1/2 pounds. His professional record consists of 30 fights, 28 victories, including 18 knockouts, with only 1 defeat and 1 draw. Fighting out of Emmanuel Stewart's Kronk Gym in the Motor City, Detroit, Michigan, here is the heavyweight contender, Johnathon, Mr. Banks Banks. And fighting out of the blue corner, wearing black with green, officially weighing in at 242 pounds. A professional record consisting of 26 contests, 25 victories, including 19 knockouts, with 1 draw. From Brandywine, Maryland, ranked number 2 in the world. He's the fighting pride of Michigan State Spartans, the undefeated NABO heavyweight champion, Seth Mayhem Mitchell.
All right, boxers, you both received my instructions in the dressing room. Obey my commands and protect yourself at all times. All right, let's touch gloves. I expect a good, clean fight. Let's go.
Just a couple of thousand fans here at most, but this is considered a very important event for Atlantic City to let the world know they are still open for business.
We're joined now at ringside by Roy Jones Jr., our expert commentator. Roy, when you look at Mitchell, as you might expect for a football player, he has huge quadriceps muscles and a very substantial butt. What does that mean to him in the ring?
Well, he got a lot of power. He's kind of built strong at the bottom. They generate a lot of power and a lot of torque. But the problem for him is that he's fighting a seasoned fighter who's been fighting since he was about 15 years old. That's always a tough assignment for a guy who starts late in his career.
Banks is indeed a slick, sophisticated boxer. But in his 9 fights as a heavyweight, he hasn't really been able to generate any pace. He's been averaging in his last 5 fights about 25 or 30 punches per round. And guys who have not shown much activity have gone away pretty fast against Seth Mitchell.
Yes, they have.
You have to fight.
You got to fight. And he's in a fight in a case tonight where he has to fight because Seth has the title. So if he wants to win, he has to go at Seth a little bit more.
What title is that, Roy?
The NABO or something like that.
Oh, that important title.
But what's important about it is that the next fight, he may have to fight his own boxer. Banks, that is. Oh, there he is.
Right hand over the top by Mitchell, and Banks grabs and holds immediately.
If Mitchell is a potential serious fighter, he should dominate this fight. Can he be schooled? Or is he the big kid in the schoolyard you don't want to mess with?
Banks grabs and holds again after another right hand by Mitchell.
Yeah,
Mitchell believes he has him hurt already.
Yeah, I think he had him hurt as well. Mitchell just has to be careful not to punch himself out, but he's doing a great thing by jumping on the more experienced fighter early.
Let him go, let him go, let him
We asked Mitchell what he'd been working on in the gym, and the first thing he mentioned was feints and head movement. The man who needs feints and head movement tonight is Johnathon Banks.
Stop.
In a fight like this, Jim, if Banks is smart, Banks will try to make it go into the later rounds because he's a more experienced fighter. Seth is throwing some really good punches at him right now, but if he can avoid these and get the fight in about round 8 or 9, he has a better chance.
Stop right there. Come on.
That's when that experience will kick in.
Mitchell's stamina has barely been tested in the professional ranks. Against Zach Page, he went the distance 8 rounds, but that's the longest he's been in the ring. Most of them have been 3, 4, and 5 round outings. Good left hook inside by Mitchell. Lands a couple of uppercuts while Banks tries to hold on. Seth Mitchell won the first round.
Primarily with good body punching.
Keep the speed on your jab. Keep feinting him and this and that. Seth, he giving it to you. He leaning in, he throwing that low left jab. You can hit him with that 1-2 this time. But keep the jab going so he can never get on track with you, all right? Keep a speed jab in his face. And don't fall in on the shot, because he's going to grab you every time you fall in. You understand me? All right.
What punches you want to throw? Quit waiting on him. Let your damn hands go. You ain't gonna win no fight if you ain't punching. He right there, just let your damn hands go. You got it? Let's go then. I'm gonna give away no rounds. Get out there and take it to the beef first.
Back it up.
Copy box numbers in round 1. Mitchell was 15 of 52. Banks 9 of only 29. As I mentioned, he's been throwing 25 to 30 punches per round. And he was at that pace again in round number 1. That's not going to threaten Seth Mitchell. Larry mentioned the body punches. CompuBox found Mitchell landing 8 out of 22 jabs. Banks gets in a jab.
Banks is trying to lay traps, hope that Mitchell makes a mistake, and that he can land the right hand.
All right, stop
right
it. Easy, stop right there.
Bothered and hurt Mitchell
You got to stop
in his
holding,
last
Jonathan, all right?
fight.
Let's go.
Like I said, the thing for Banks here is he has to try to extend this fight. He doesn't want to get into a trading war or a wheel of power here because he's definitely the smaller guy and definitely he's not the stronger guy. So if he can extend this fight, he can find out can his experience become effective.
Hard right hand to the body by Mitchell. Crowd oohed and awed over that. There's the kind of mistake that Larry Merchant was talking about. Seth Mitchell makes the mistake, and Johnathon Banks has a knockdown. Perfect example of the kind of trap you were talking about.
7, 8.
And Mitchell is dazed, and we have over a minute left in the round.
And now he holds on. He did not go down against Witherspoon when Witherspoon ripped him in the first round of the last fight. This time, he's been down.
And he's in bad trouble now.
First knockdown of Seth Mitchell's career. Johnathon Banks, an inspired performance. Big left hook by Mitchell. Mitchell's trying to fight his way out of it.
Yes, he is. He has the big heart. The fight against Witherspoon taught him that he always has a fighting chance. So he's still fighting right now, trying.
Looks like his head is cleared a little bit.
Nope. Got ripped again on a straight right hand inside by Banks. Oh, just missed with a huge right hand that might have knocked Banks into next week. Good body shots. 2 of them by Mitchell. That's a good way to stabilize.
Oh, we heard him
Another
again.
big shot by Banks.
Oh, we heard
Another
again.
right hand.
He's hurt
Mitchell's down
again.
again. Second knockdown. Eddie Cotton's going to start the count.
7. Come on, Seth, you gotta show me. 8. You gotta show me something.
Mitchell has rubbery legs.
I don't
and
think
Banks finish him right here.
Yeah, I don't think
You heard Cotton say, you got to show me something. Somewhere Emmanuel Stewart is cheering as Banks tries to get it done. Third knockdown of the round. And that's it. The fight is over. Seth Mitchell has been knocked out by Johnathon Banks. An amazing upset. Stewart magic.
The fighter who started at 15 beat the fighter who started at nearly 25.
Well, you made the point, Larry, in round one, that Banks was trying to set traps for Mitchell. He got him into one of those traps in round two and capitalized perfectly, Roy.
Yes, he did. And anytime you see a fighter like Banks who's chopping at the bits for a guy who was a late starter, you know he saw something in the guy before he ever took the fight. He said this is the fight that he has been waiting for. He saw something in Seth Mitchell. More than likely, the inexperience ability is what he saw, and that let him know that he had a great chance against Seth.
So did we see another American heavyweight hopeful vanish in front of our eyes, or another one rise in front of our eyes?
No, we kind of saw another one vanish in front of our eyes because we already know that he's not going to do well against his own fighter.
That's right. He trains Vladimir Klitschko. But what an amazing 8 days for Banks, who got Klitschko past Mariusz Bach last Saturday night, who came to Detroit and commemorated the loss of his mentor, Emanuel Stewart, who came here where nobody thought he could do this and knocked out Seth Mitchell. Roy?
Yeah, he saw Jonathan Banks on the attack. He caught him with a good right hook that hurt him in the beginning. Sorry I missed it then, but right here, you see the knockdown was an overhand right there on the chin, and down went the big guy, Seth Mitchell.
Crowd was shocked.
The knockdown two, there was another overhand right to the jaw, followed by a hook, and another right hook straight down the middle. And that was another straight right hand that grazed him, but he was already hurt at that point. And he also pulled Mitchell down, not Mitchell.
And now here's the end.
And here's the end.
Banks closed the show, landing 25 of 42 power shots in the round, I guess with the tape stop there. But the bottom line is, once he got Mitchell in trouble, obviously the skilled veteran knew what to do and went after Mitchell with a perfect fusillade of power shots that got it done.
Well, see, this is what you have to realize, Jim. Guys like Banks, who have been around for a while, they watch guys. He saw that Witherspoon hurt the big fighter, the bigger guy. So he knew that if he could just get in and land the shot first, he could cause problems. So he gambled, and he won the gamble tonight.
It is hard to separate this from the emotional aura of what we're dealing with here. Emanuel Stewart's fighter has just scored an incredible upset.
And lined himself up to fight his own fighter.
That's amazing. Well, I guess he has to ask to fight Vitaly then. He does not train Vitaly Klitschko. He does train Vladimir Klitschko. Michael Buffer has a small smile on his face. I know why.
Ladies and gentlemen, the end comes at 2 minutes, 37 seconds of round number 2. The winner by knockout victory, with dedication to his trainer, the late, great Emanuel Stewart, from the Kronk Gym, Detroit, Michigan, Mr. Banks, Johnathon Banks.
Let's take a look at final CompuBox numbers. Mitchell landed 21. He more or less dominated the first round. Banks, almost all of this in the second round. 38 out of 77, 49% for the fight. Wiping out Seth Mitchell, producing 3 second-round knockdowns and a stunning upset victory on the boardwalk in Atlantic City. Total power punches, and most of the 27 power punches Banks landed came after he got Mitchell in trouble in the second round. Larry Merchant is standing by with the winner. Let's go up there.
Thank you, Jim. Congratulations, Jonathan. What role did Emanuel Stewart's passing play into this fight tonight?
Well, the role of Emanuel Stewart played into my life, and fighting is my life. So I just want to dedicate this to him, because I know he's a man of knockouts. He loves knockouts. So I dedicate this to Emanuel Stewart, never forgotten, and we truly gonna miss him.
You've said that what Emanuel taught you is know what's in front of you. What did you feel you knew about what was in front of you tonight?
Well, I knew I had a very strong and determined guy in front of me. You know, I seen Seth fights, and I seen just his mentality. He got a go-getter mentality. Regardless of whatever happened, he wants to win. He's coming to win.
What flaws did you see? What trap did you try to lay? What happened in the ring that began the end of this fight?
Well, honestly, I didn't see any openings, let's just say. I didn't see too many, but I felt when I hit him, I hurt him, and he didn't grab hold to me like he should have. He grabbed my waist instead of grabbing my arms. So as long as I was able to punch, I was able to get something off.
I've seen you on many occasions never going like a tiger after a guy you've hurt, barging into the room after you've opened the door. What inspired that?
Well, I believe, like we discussed in the HBO meeting, I just got a different motivation. Maybe it's because I turned 30, I don't know. But I got a different motivation, a different attitude about boxing, and I'm just ready to go continue my rise to the top.
If you had lost this fight, you might have become just a trainer. Now you're all of a sudden in the position of challenging the man you just trained for a championship fight, Vladimir Klitschko, the man you've sparred with 8 years.
Yeah.
What feelings are running through your head?
You know, all is running through my head. I got so much momentum going right now. All I'm thinking about is how thankful I am for Emmanuel Stewart. That's all that's running through my head right now. I'm thankful for Emmanuel Stewart because without him, he taught me the game of boxing. Without boxing, I wouldn't be here right now.
But didn't you feel that a guy, you've been 15 years inside the gym.
Yeah.
And that even though everybody thought he's too big and strong for you, you felt deep down inside.
Talking about the opponent.
No, you're the professional here.
I felt, everyone always told me, I'm reading on Facebook, on Twitter, everyone's telling me he's too big, too strong for you, Johnathon, but I've been fighting big guys all my life, never been scared of him. I knew he wasn't scared of me. I wasn't scared of him, and I'm thankful of his attitude because we both have a mutual respect for each other, and we both respect boxing, and I'm thankful for that.
Do you know how to fight Vladimir Klitschko?
Yes, I do. I made a half a living knowing how to fight him, so yes.
We may yet see that. Thank you very much.
Thank you, man. Appreciate you, brother. Thank you.
Seth, you met an experienced pro out there tonight. What happened?
First and foremost, I want to thank my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ for allowing me to walk out this ring healthy. I want to congratulate Johnathon on a hell of a performance. And, you know, he caught me. I felt I definitely won the first round, caught him with some shots that he felt. And then in the second round, our main focus was to not reach on him. He was a counter puncher. And, you know, I threw a shot and a looping shot and reached, and he did what he was supposed to do, caught me with a counter shot, and he was able to, you know, throw some more shots when like he said, I was grabbing him at the waist instead of tying his arms up, and he did what he was supposed to do.
Does this crush your dreams of becoming a significant factor or even a champion?
Not at all. You know, I'm gonna bounce back from this victory. I'm gonna look at this tape. I'm gonna learn what I did wrong. Obviously, it set me back a little bit, but we're gonna go back to the drawing board and I'll come back stronger. Don't be sorry for me. Be sorry for my next opponent. That's just how I look at it.
Thank you very much, Seth.
Thank you.
Jim?
All right, Larry, and regardless of the matchmaking implications, if Vladimir Klitschko is awake in Germany, he is cheering. No question about that. We are at Boardwalk Hall in Atlantic City, New Jersey. Still to come tonight, our main event. Antonio DeMarco, fresh off a 44-second destruction of John Molina, puts his lightweight title on the line against undefeated rising star Adrien Broner. But before we get to our main event, let's take a look at what HBO Sports has in store for you in the weeks ahead. Next week on World Championship Boxing, a Thanksgiving weekend doubleheader. The explosive Andre Berto is back after 14 months of inactivity. Down goes Ortiz on a perfect right-hand shot by Berto. Berto takes on Robert the Ghost Guerrero in a high-stakes welterweight showdown.
And then on December 8th, HBO pay-per-view brings you the 4th installment of one of boxing's all-time great rivalries, Manny Pacquiao and Juan Manuel Marquez.
Fire against fire. Pacquiao's left, Marquez's right. What a battle.
1 week later, from Houston, Texas, it's the return of the Filipino Flash, Nonito Donaire.
Go, left hand, drops Manabula.
Donaire puts his 122-pound title on the line against veteran Jorge Arce.
Arce goes twice to the body. Perfect left hook shot.
It's sure to be a high-action night on Saturday, December 15. As 2012 winds down, there's plenty more excitement in the ring on HBO's World Championship Boxing and pay-per-view.
Well, Theater of the Unexpected already. It's an exciting night on the boardwalk in Atlantic City as Johnathon Banks has produced the stunning upset of Seth Mitchell, which once again rewrites the rankings in the American sector of the heavyweight division. Now let's get ready for the main event, a fight in which Adrien Broner hopes to further stamp himself the most dynamic rising force in American boxing. Larry, before we start to develop this on camera, let's go to a Larry Merchant interview with Broner from earlier this week.
Adrien, you've said you want to be an entertainment in boxing. What does that mean to you?
It means a lot. You know, as of today, you know, in boxing, you really don't see a lot of entertainment. You just see a lot of fighting and just boxing. You know, I'm here to put on a show.
They call me the problem, but you could call me the can man, because anybody can get it. Africans, Americans, Dominicans, Mexicans, anybody can get it.
I never wanted to be a moment where Adrien Broner's on TV and you're like, okay, I'll be back. When Adrien Broner's on TV, I don't want people to blink.
You've been compared because of your boxing style, your shoulder roll, your chin and down, to Floyd Mayweather. Have you picked up his style outside the ring as well as inside the ring in order to market yourself?
Negative. You know, where I come from, you know, looking up to somebody's cool, but just flat out trying to be like the next man, that's not cool. You know, I'm not gonna say I don't look up to him, because I do. As a boxer, he's amazing.
Now the spotlight is on you, and there are a lot of high expectations of you. And you've indicated that you're not completely happy with some of the stuff that people are on you about. How are you dealing with this?
I stay focused. You know, it's tunnel vision. I got my mind on the prize, you know, staying victorious, being successful.
But when you sort of mocked your opponent the last time and didn't make weight twice and kind of made light of it, that for the first time, I think, people were on your case.
133.5 pounds for Adrien.
A lot of people, they were criticizing me about the weight issue thing, but you know, what can I say? I grew out of a weight class. What do you want me to do? Stay at 130 my whole career? You know?
Well, no, that's not fair. You made a contract. It looked like you weren't even trying to make the weight, and then you had a second chance, and you didn't try to make that one. And that's gave you an edge in the fight.
And Joel Diaz is holding up a towel. He's seen enough.
And you lost a lot of money.
I don't let it get to me. People are going to say whatever. But at the end of the day, you know, the results was going to be the same.
There we go, our face-off, our champion and our challenger.
You're going into the ring with the fighter who's recognized as the lightweight champion, Antonio DeMarco. And what happens if he hits you on the chin?
You cry? I'm gonna give you something to cry about. Ah!
The hard work is done in the gym. I've been hit before.
But not by the guy who is the biggest, arguably the best puncher you ever fought.
Hey, I felt some power before. I'm not worried about a punch. I'm not in the game to get hit. No, I'm not. But if I do get hit, you know, it comes with the territory. I'm ready.
good luck.
Thank you.
Back live at ringside, Larry, Adrien Broner contends that tonight he is going to produce the kind of defining transitional performance that, for instance, Floyd Mayweather produced in his showdown with Diego Corrales, that Oscar De La Hoya had years ago against Genaro Hernandez. What's your take on Broner's attitude toward this fight?
Called himself a former class clown, but we in the boxing world seem to have anointed him as a lightweight class clone with the high expectations of Oscar De La Hoya and Floyd Mayweather Jr. at the same stages of their career. Emanuel Stewart sort of put this in perspective when he said that he thought the fight tonight with DeMarco could define Broner in two ways. He actually ran into Broner after the Pacquiao-Bradley fight in Las Vegas at a restaurant and offered this advice to him. He said, you know, yeah, you have the style of Floyd Mayweather Jr., but ultimately everyone has to fight on his own. And you have to find who you are. In effect, he was saying, you can be a little bit more aggressive with that style in the ring, and maybe a little less aggressive outside of the ring. True Emanuel Stewart.
Larry, let's set up what we call the age 23 graphic for you, okay? And this obviously goes back to the comparisons that I brought up during the on-camera with Mayweather and De La Hoya and what they were doing at age 23 en route to the destiny that Broner hopes is his.
Well, as you can see, the records are remarkably similar. All of them starting out as junior lightweights and moving on. But Floyd Mayweather and Oscar De La Hoya both fought significantly more challenging opponents at that stage of their careers. Arguably, Broner is facing his most challenging, perhaps his first seriously challenging opponent tonight in DeMarco.
All right, well, Antonio DeMarco is a 5'10" southpaw who is tough and has scored at least one dramatic and unexpected win last year against Jorge Linares. Roy Jones, Broner's toughest test was in the featherweight division, 126 pounds, against the awkward Mexican southpaw, Daniel Ponce de Leon. Ponce de Leon gave him trouble. How did he do it, and could DeMarco do the same?
Well, Ponce de Leon gave him trouble because Ponce de Leon, first of all, being a southpaw, gave him something he hadn't seen much of before. Secondly, Ponce de Leon stayed on the outside and boxed. He didn't go in recklessly and try to give Broner what Broner wants. He didn't strictly run from Broner. He moved around left and right, attacked from a distance, and he kept the fight at a distance with Broner.
Is DeMarco the kind of fighter who can take a page out of that book?
He is the type of fighter that can because of his height and his reach. But I don't think he's the type of fighter that will. He's a guy who loves to go to war. The fights that he's won that have gained him the most credibility have been fights that either he come back from or he went out and smashed the guy right away. He came from behind in his biggest victory and won a fight, a tough fought fight. Therefore, for DeMarco, I think the fight lays in the later rounds. For Broner, I think the fight is early. So if Broner can come out and get control early, I just like his chances more. However, I still think DeMarco is the type of guy that if you let him stick around 4, 5, 6 rounds, he can be more of a problem than you ever expect him to be.
They're fighting for Antonio DeMarco's lightweight championship belt, so Adrien Broner is now prepared to walk to the ring first. They had to hustle in the Broner dressing room. They were a little bit taken by surprise by the second-round knockout of Mitchell on the part of Johnathon Banks, but here he comes, and now let's spend a minute with the Cincinnati kid. Oh. Sorry about that. We will not spend the minute with Adrien Broner. We're going to watch him walk in.
Now coming to the ring, he's the challenger tonight. From Cincinnati, Ohio, Adrien, the problem Broner.
Broner, Jim, has said that he wants to generate $1 billion of revenues in his career. And you have to hand it to him for his ambition.
Chutzpah.
Yeah. But he also has already 5 children, so he may need that $1 billion.
Roy Jones, a guy who comes from a hard-bitten ghetto background, as Broner does, often thinks that he has a psychological advantage against just about everybody. But DeMarco lived on the streets of Tijuana and ate out of garbage cans as a teenager. He's been through more than just about anybody in the sport. Could it be that Broner would find that he's less psychologically favored here than he might have thought was going to be the case?
Yes, he's definitely less psychologically favored because this guy has the same background, just from a different ethnic group. What we would call somewhat tragic or hard knock life for an African American, DeMarco has experienced as a Mexican.
Excellent point. And now Broner begins to dance on his way in. In his last assignment against Vicente Escobedo in Cincinnati, he took advantage of Escobedo by refusing basically to make weight. While Escobedo was diligently getting himself down to 130 pounds, Broner had apparently decided that 130 was not within his capacity anymore. Entered the ring at 133. There was a protracted day-long negotiation. He wound up paying Escobedo a lot of money to stay in the fight, and then Larry proceeded to beat him up.
You're right, Jim, but what I've heard is that his backers helped to make up a big chunk of the money he had to give up. And I think it probably was justified in the sense that they should not have made him fight again at 130 pounds. He has fought only 5 fights at 130 or less. He basically is a lightweight.
And you will see on the back of Broner's robe the beautiful commemoration of Emanuel Stewart, which of course is a part of the theme of everything here tonight. Meanwhile, waiting in the wings is the man who carries a title belt into the ring. Man with 4 more years of professional experience than Broner, Antonio DeMarco. DeMarco, in his last fight, scored a 44-second knockout over John Molina, the fastest knockout in the history of the lightweight division by someone holding a title belt. But his biggest accomplishment, to which Roy Jones alluded in his comments, was his stunning come-from-behind win last year over Jorge Linares in Staples Center. Let's take a look back.
We were losing on points at that point in time. But what motivated us was because we wanted to be a world champion. And so I got to my corner in the 10th round, and I sat in the chair. And I visualized at that moment everything that had happened to me during my life growing up. And Don Romulo told me in my corner, he said, do it for your wife, do it for your daughter, do it for you. And that moment in time is when I decided that we needed to go out for the knockout.
And Raul Caiz is going to stop the fight and give DeMarco a TKO victory.
When the ref stopped the fight, my life flashed before my eyes. It's a day that I will never forget. I will never forget that date. It was marvelous, marvelous, not only for me, but for my team, for my family. It was a great day because I was able to provide now for my daughter, for my wife, and to give them the things that I want to give them.
You know, the lives of fighters often begin in almost unimaginable circumstances and poverty. DeMarco said that he is devoting this fight to all the people who gave him a bowl of soup when he was living on the streets of Tijuana.
He came back from that. He beat Linares in a fight in which he was down by scores of 99-91 and 98-92. He's not an easy guy to back out, Roy.
No, he's not an easy guy to back out at all. Maybe that comes from his upbringing, the situations that he's faced early, and he defeated those situations, so he feels like he can defeat any situation that he comes upon now.
Let's go to ring announcer Michael Buffer now for the official introductions.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is the main event of the evening. 12 rounds of boxing for the WBC Lightweight Championship of the World. Presented by Golden Boy Promotions and R&R Promotions in association with Gary Shaw Productions and sponsored by Caesars Atlantic City, Corona Extra La Cerveza Más Fina, AT&T, the nation's largest 4G network, AT&T Rethink Possible. Sanctioned by the New Jersey State Athletic Control Board. Commissioner, Aaron M. Davis, Chairman, Tony Orlando. And the World Boxing Council President, Jose Sulaiman, Supervisor, Michael George. At ringside, the 3 judges scoring this bout on the 10-point system will be Alejandro Rochin, John Stewart, and Steve Weisfeld. And inside the ring, in charge of the action at the bell, referee Benji Esteves. And now, from Atlantic City's Boardwalk Hall, courtesy of Caesars Atlantic City, for the thousands in attendance and the millions watching around the world on HBO. Ladies and gentlemen, let's get ready to rumble! Fighting out of the blue corner, wearing pink with white and black trim, officially weighing 134 1/2 pounds. His professional record, a perfect one, consisting of 24 fights, 24 victories, including 20 knockouts. From Cincinnati, Ohio, the undefeated challenger, former junior lightweight champion of the world, Adrien, the Problem Broner. And fighting out of the red corner, wearing black with gold, official weight 134 1/2 pounds also. An outstanding professional record consisting of 31 fights, 28 victories, including 21 knockouts, only 2 defeats, and 1 bout even. He is the reigning, defending WBC lightweight champion of the world, damas y caballeros, Tijuana, Mexico, Antonio DeMarco.
Let's get some of these bodies out of here. Let's get some of these bodies out of here. Antonio, Adrien, puedes repetir mis instrucciones? Can you repeat my instructions? Dame una pelea limpia, expect a clean fight. Obedece mis instrucciones durante la pelea. Obey my commands at all times. Y protégete durante la pelea todo el tiempo. Protect yourself at all times. Touch him up.
Good luck.
In the big picture of the hurricane damage along the Jersey Shore and elsewhere in the East Coast, this fight may not matter very much, doesn't make much of a wave, but in the fight world, it is big.
Well, in his last fight, DeMarco stepped out of a corner, landed 1 straight left hand, got Molina in trouble in a hurry, banged away at him against the ropes in the corner, and got a stoppage after 44 seconds. Guess what? It's not going to happen tonight. If you've never seen Broner before, you see the resemblance between his setup, his stance, and the upward shoulder defensive style typified by Floyd Mayweather. But offensively, Roy, I think he's an entirely different fighter. Straight left hand by DeMarco.
Yeah, he's definitely an entirely different fighter because he's much more aggressive. He comes with bad intentions.
You know, Roy, I once asked Sugar Ray Leonard how he would fight someone of Mayweather's style, and he said he would never go for the chin. He would try to hit him high on the head. You can't hit him on the chin.
It's not that you can't hit them on the chin, but they do have a superior defense. So you have to be very smart in your attack. And to be honest with you, DeMarco already hit him on the chin with a pretty good shot. It just didn't bother him.
Well, he's noted for his hair. Maybe he's got a good beard, too.
Neither fighter fights at a particularly fast pace. Both of them throw fewer punches than the 135-pound division average.
The good thing you're finding out here is both guys are trying to land power shots to see how the other reacts to the power shot. They're not really out here to trade tapping blows.
Should the straight right hand be a prominent weapon for Broner tonight, Roy?
It will be that and the left hook, just as the left hand, the straight left hand, the right hook will be a weapon for DeMarco.
DeMarco already has a red mark outside his right eye.
From the left hook.
DeMarco almost stumbled of his own volition there. Rights himself, gets back into form. Straight right hand by Broner. Left hook lands again, right on the spot where the red mark, and again. Those are Broner's left hooks. Now here's DeMarco coming with his straight left hand.
5 seconds, 5 segundos.
Not a particularly busy round for either fighter.
How'd you feel it? Good, good, good.
Dame la plancha, no, hijo.
Where's the swell? Swell, son. Everything good? But you got to throw more, eh? He's waiting for you. You got to use your combinations. Combinations, multiple punches, not just one. He's waiting, push him back now, press him, and work your waist. Combination of punches.
And see how he reaching? We want him to reach. Then you bring it under. Make him reach. Come out his comfort zone, all right? But keep popping him with the jab and keep stopping him. Keep stopping him, okay? Keep stopping him. Stay behind your jab. You hear me? Okay? All right? Let's go. All right.
Right, baby. Let's go, guys. Get him up.
A look at the boardwalk in Atlantic City. CompuBox numbers in round one between Broner and DeMarco. Broner was 7 of 24. DeMarco 6 of 23. That means together they threw 47 punches. The division average for an individual fighter would be higher than that. So they're fighting at an exceptionally slow pace so far, at least in terms of the punches they're throwing.
And it's mainly because they're throwing bombs. Everything they're throwing, even their jabs, are being thrown with bad intentions.
You know, the redness around DeMarco's eye already reminds me, Jim, of how badly he has been cut in the past.
Well, he lost a 9-round war against Edwin Valero, the late Edwin Valero, in which he was simply beaten down by a more accurate, more dynamic power puncher. And he was getting busted up by Linares, but Linares didn't have particularly heavy hands. He's a legs and feet and fast hands fighter. And ultimately, DeMarco, though fighting at a slower pace, was able to beat Linares down with heavier, more damaging blows.
So you tell me what this is about pink gloves, Roy.
Breast cancer awareness, Larry.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly. Susan G. Coleman.
That is it. This is breast cancer awareness month still, thus the pink gloves.
Oh, good hook by Broner.
Straight right hand down the pipe by Broner. And you can see the shock value of his punches. DeMarco once again getting out-quicked as he was against Linares.
Yeah, and Broner's definitely the quicker fighter. And what's happening is DeMarco is standing there with his head in one spot. He's not moving his head, so he's a sitting duck for Broner, who's already the quicker fighter. You must move your head. You see that? You're never going to get out the way of it if you're not moving already.
Broner was extremely confident yesterday when we spoke with him about this. Acknowledged that DeMarco's a class fighter and a tough guy. Suggested that he thought he would roll through him in a few rounds. It wouldn't be Adrien Broner if he weren't profoundly confident. He catches DeMarco coming in with a left hand. Straight right hand down the pipe. He's landing when he wants to land.
Speed kills, Jim, and that's what's happening right now. The speed is killing DeMarco. But it's also because DeMarco is just standing right there in front of him. He's not giving much head movement.
Straight left hand across the top. Brings a rise out of the crowd. DeMarco landed that one. Broner backs off just a little bit.
And what DeMarco should do is feint the left hand before he comes. Then that will make Broner not be able to time him so well with the left hook. He's not feinting.
5 segundos.
Broner has not gotten a single body shot yet by DeMarco. DeMarco's going to have to go to the body at some point to have a chance to win the fight.
Hey, look here.
Immediately following tonight's live boxing, 24/7 Pacquiao Marquez kicks off with a look back at the 3 fights that forged one of boxing's greatest rivalries. On December 8th, HBO pay-per-view brings you the live matchup between the 2 surefire Hall of Famers as Pacquiao and Marquez will share the ring for what's likely to be the last time.
Keep going straight down the middle. He ain't moved his head yet, okay? But you gotta put your combinations together a little more, okay?
Hey, no, it's okay. It's okay. I'm gonna get a rhythm now. Don't let him beat you. Don't let him take the rounds from you. Hold on a bit.
Vamos, mijo. Sin alocarnos, sin alocarnos.
Storm-damaged Atlantic City, New Jersey, Boardwalk Hall. Adrien Broner in the pink trunks against Antonio DeMarco in the black with gold trim. Round 3 begins. I mentioned at the end of the last round, DeMarco hasn't landed a body shot yet. Sometimes scary to throw body shots against somebody this fast because you know you're going to get countered.
That's exactly right. You don't want to give up take a body shot and give up a great head shot for that body shot. Because it's not often that a body shot is going to do a lot of damage at one time to a good fighter like Adrien Broner. So you don't want to sacrifice your chin for a body shot.
We did see DeMarco finally try one to the body moments ago.
And DeMarco seemed to be getting a little frustrated at the end of the last round, Jim.
Has anybody thrown 2 punches in a row yet?
No, because the other guy's throwing powerful counter punches behind the 1 punch.
Well, they're still in that situation where each guy's trying to land 1 authoritative punch at a time and put as much as he can on it.
That's exactly what they're doing. They're trying to throw, they're going for the home runs.
Well, why would that be?
Because they're trying to establish respect for one another.
There's a body blow by DeMarco, a right hook to the rib cage, and there's another one as DeMarco begins basically to warm up a little bit.
Broner's moving up in weight to try to take over a new weight class, so he's trying to make that statement. DeMarco is trying to say, I am champion and you're not going to take over my weight class. So he's trying to make that statement. That's why both fighters are throwing with such authority on each punch they throw.
I'm told that on our unofficial scale in the dressing room, Broner, the guy who's moving up in weight, outweighed DeMarco by 5 pounds.
And I can believe it.
Good left to the body by DeMarco.
He told him last fight that he outgrew the weight class.
Hard right hand by Broner.
Broner trying to break him down punch by punch in a very calculated, deliberate fashion.
DeMarco getting very impatient here, and if he's not careful, he'll accidentally walk into one.
DeMarco wants to fight in the center of the ring, seems comfortable fighting in the center of the ring, but he does better when he can get Broner to the ropes.
But that's on Broner. Broner has to decide when he wants to go to the ropes. He's comfortable right in the middle of the ring, and if he goes to the ropes, I feel it's hoping to find an opening.
He's scared of you now, huh? That's it, son. Just like that. Let's see.
Espérame. Hay corte, hay corte.
Back. Okay, don't let him push you back.
I got you.
Let's go. Come on, pick it up now, okay? You're giving him confidence. We don't want to give him confidence, okay? I know you picking me apart, but you got to follow it up with your combinations. All right, let's go. Come on, right now. Let's go. Let's go right now.
Let put it in there. Let's put it in there.
Let's go. Right now. You all right? Let's go. Go, go. Let's go.
You hear Michael Stafford, the trainer of Broner, telling him to start throwing more than one punch at a time.
Power shots in round 3. Broner was 9 of 18. DeMarco was 14 of 28. Round 3 represented a significant step up for DeMarco, who is much more in the fight at this moment than was the case before, but now he has a cut outside his right eye. Harold, how do you have it through 3?
Okay, Jim, I've got a 2-1, 29-28, Adrien Broner. I agree with you, Jim. I thought Antonio DeMarco did win the 3rd round. He started to move his hands a little better. Jim, I got to tell you something. You know, we score supposedly 25% for defense. Watch Adrien Broner's defense. Very interesting. He's got that crosswise defense. The left hand across his chest, the right hand covering his jaw. And he's not an easy guy to hit. Keeps that shoulder very high, and he leans back away from the punches. 2-1, Broner.
DeMarco going after him, gained a lot of confidence, it appeared, in the 3rd round, despite the fact that he's now got that cut outside his right eye. And incidentally, you mentioned Michael Stafford, Larry. Following up on the Emmanuel Stewart theme for the evening, both of these fighters have outstanding trainers, Michael Stafford and Romulo Chirarte. Both of them are the kinds of guys who spent the bulk of their career focusing on amateur fighters rather than professionals.
DeMarco can't win the inside fight with that. Adrian's hands are much too quick for him to be inside with him.
Broner popped his head up with an uppercut during that last exchange. DeMarco's head, that is. Good sharp right hand inside by Broner, and another. DeMarco with a right to the body. Broner lands an uppercut, and another. DeMarco fires back with a right and a left. We've got a fight breaking out in Atlantic City with a minute to go in round 4.
And Broner is definitely getting the best of it on the inside with the shorter, more crisp punches.
They trade body shots. Broner with 2 uppercuts again. Another pair of uppercuts for Broner. Now DeMarco tries the left uppercut. Broner with a right cross. Good body shot with the left hand by Broner. Another uppercut. He's devastating DeMarco with uppercuts.
Yeah, because his hands are so much more quicker than DeMarco. DeMarco can't win that fight right there.
DeMarco lands a straight left. And a right hook. Broner nails him with a right hand. Exciting round. The crowd is rising for it.
Broner stands right in there, confident that he can see everything coming and counter it.
And he's throwing great body shots and a great right uppercut, causing DeMarco a lot of problems.
5 seconds, 5 segundos.
That was a terrific display by Broner. But I'll repeat, he's fighting a guy who lived on the streets of Tijuana for 3 years. It won't be quite that easy.
He's countering you. Your head is there, standing still. You're not moving anything. You're not moving the waist. You're not doing anything. You gotta move. How are you feeling? Good. If you're gonna brawl, you're not gonna win. Come on, you gotta fight with an advantage. You're an advantage. You're on the inside. Bend your waist and connect.
Here you see Broner roll the right hook by DeMarco and follow with a great straight right hand right down the middle. Those shots cause a lot of damage.
Let's go. Come on.
Power shots in round 4. There were no jabs on the round. Broner was 36 out of 62, 58%. DeMarco 22 out of 61. That's not bad, but he couldn't keep up with Broner in terms of connected punches. Broner has good, stiff power.
And his hands are much quicker, Jim. That's what's giving him the advantage on the inside. He's much quicker. He's throwing much more crisp punches than DeMarco, and the punches are starting to get to DeMarco a little bit.
We've seen a lot of guys, Roy, with quick hands who don't want to stand in there, though, the way Broner is willing to.
Well, he's got a defense that he's highly confident in, so he's not worried about standing inside. And truthfully, because of the length of DeMarco's arms, this is the best fight for Broner. His arms are the shortest. Get close.
The closer two fighters get to each other, the more the taller fighter's advantage goes away.
That's exactly right, and that's what's happening here. And not only that, but the shorter fighter is also the quicker fighter.
Let's listen to Michael Stafford now from the corner of Adrien Broner.
Broner just taking DeMarco apart at the moment.
On the knee! 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 Give it to you!
Combination punches on the inside are killing DeMarco.
Less than a minute to go in round 5. There's blood on the face of Antonio DeMarco. And referee Benji Esteves is warning Broner. But Broner goes right back to work on the inside, landing sharp, clean punches on the face of Antonio DeMarco.
Hands much too fast, much too much shock on those punches for DeMarco to continue to take them.
What do you think the warning was, Roy?
Well, it's just when he got close to him, he realized that his hands are too quick. Don't stay away from him. Get close to him and get in it.
Boy, DeMarco has the guts of a burglar as he keeps taking these flush shots and waving to Broner, come on in, I want to fight.
Yeah, but he's not doing well in the fight, taking all these shots.
He's getting busted up.
He's getting busted up really bad. He's taking some big shots, and it's not looking good for him right now.
Great round for Broner. Maybe a 10-8.
He's gonna stop it.
13 years after NFL star Ray Caruth had his pregnant girlfriend shot and killed, Real Sports visits with the boy who miraculously survived the attack while in utero. He was left with severe disabilities, but with the help of his grandmother, continues to fight. November 24th, it's a World Championship boxing doubleheader featuring former 147-pound titleist Robert the Ghost Guerrero and Andre Berto. Also that night, Keith Thurman takes on Carlos Quintana.
How are you feeling? Good. You sure? Yes. So come on, son.
Here you see Broner with a left uppercut followed by a short overhand right, which was a beautiful combination, actually a short straight right. Beautiful combination, and the combination punching started to really hurt DeMarco on the inside.
Well, as Larry Merchant said, potentially a 10-8 round. The CompuBox profile of that, power shots, Broner landed 52 of 78 power shots in that round. DeMarco 6 of 31. That was a wipeout. And let's see if DeMarco can somehow get himself back into the fight.
Well, now he's starting to run from Broner a little bit. He's not coming out being the aggressor like he was in the earlier rounds. So you know the shots are starting to have an effect on him.
Our interpreter, Jerry Olaya, tells us that in the corner between rounds, Romulo Curarte told Antonio DeMarco he wanted to stop the fight, and DeMarco talked him out of it.
He finna stop it soon, though, if he keep taking this kind of punishment. No sense in letting him take this type of punishment. He can live to fight another day.
Absolutely, Cuarte's a humane trainer.
Yep. So if he doesn't tighten up here soon and make something happen, it'd be smart to stop it. Because he's taking a thrashing right now.
DeMarco was getting hit like this against Jorge Linares last year. But Linares didn't have anywhere near the kind of punching power that Broner has.
That's exactly right.
3-1 favorite now looks like a 30-1 favorite.
You can't count this kid out, though, until it's over, because he's going to try to the end.
DeMarco looks slightly more alive in this round, but he's still getting hit. There's a good body shot by DeMarco. He's been a little more cautious now, Roy, not trading as freely as he was before.
No, because he's hurting a little bit more now, Jim. He's taking a lot of punishment, and the shots are starting to wear on him. You see that eye starting to swell bad over here on this side. That left eye, I guess. And Broner is steadily tapping him. That makes it very hard for him to get off. See that? Broner making him keep his hands at home for defense. Good hook by DeMarco. But Broner has a real pace on him right now.
Because DeMarco doesn't appear capable, really, at this point, of hurting Broner with any one punch.
That punch hurt.
It's very difficult to turn it around.
A body punch made DeMarco's knees sag.
Yeah, but DeMarco has the heart of a champion. And the smart thing about Broner is he's beating the body down. He's not just concentrating on the head, he's beating the body. That's the maturity you want to see in a good young fighter.
Now it looks like a comprehensive performance by Broner.
Tell me truthfully, how do you feel? I'm good. How do you feel? I'm good. Open your eyes. You feel with strength? Can you continue working or no? Because you're standing there in front without a need for it. That's what I'm asking you. I'm not going to let you go more than what I expect. We use the combinations like we practice in the gym. I feel you have no power. I don't want you, I just don't want you just to win the fight. You're my interest. I don't care for it. You connected him several times, Antonio, but you have no continuity to it. And he's catching you. And you're settling in and he's catching you. More continuity. Let's go with character. With character like you've always done.
Go. In the last 2 rounds, Adrien Broner has landed 92 power shots to only 21 for Broner. And Broner's landing heavy, thudding blows. DeMarco is just trying to keep him off of him from time to time. It's the best he can do.
Yeah, it's very hard for him, though, because Broner has realized that the best fight for him is inside.
Harold, how do you have it through 6?
Look at Jim, 59-54, 5 rounds to 1, Adrien Broner. You know, Jim, I got to tell you something. These two guys are fighting head-to-head, toe-to-toe for 6 rounds. Antonio DeMarco was taking a terrible beating. Wouldn't you think that he would go to plan B? Try to move a little bit. Don't stand in front of this guy. Change your fight. I mean, circle, step to the side. Do something different, but don't stand in front of Adrien Broner and try to bang with him. You're getting beat to a pulp. I mean, move. Box a little. 5-1, Adrien Broner.
Harold, you're asking him to be somebody he isn't.
Yeah, apparently not a plan B fighter.
There's plan A and plan A+. There's no plan B here.
You mentioned the pink gloves, Larry. In the dressing room before the fight, when he was brought the pink gloves, another warning from Benji Esteves. This time it's a low blow, and he's very graphic about it. In the dressing room before the fight, when when DeMarco was brought the pink gloves, he resisted at first. He said, "You're giving me girl gloves," and he had to be explained the breast cancer awareness implication, and then freely said, "Okay, yeah, I'll wear them."
But he had pink shorts and pink shoes.
That was okay. I'm talking about DeMarco. They don't look all that good with the black trunks.
You are correct, sir.
Strange that they bring the champ a set of gloves and say, "This is what you're gonna wear, and you're the champ." So when he took those gloves, he basically almost lost the fight right there.
90% of the time in a situation like this, you would say that DeMarco is way too brave for his own good. But this in some senses, is the life that he's lived.
His whole life.
Well, I used to say a fighter is in the pink, but not this kind of pink.
He's one you definitely can't count out until the last bell rings, that's for sure, or until the ref counts him out, because he is truly a fighter, and he has battled a lot worse than this. So.
Broner has slowed down just slightly in this round, but is still ripping DeMarco with virtually every power shot that he throws.
How do you feel? Good, good. In the end, swell, Bobby. You got to keep him busy. You got to keep going busy. Let go, let go. If you let go a little bit more, you're going to push him back. You can't be so. He's slowing down. He's slowing down, and you're seeing his punches. Open your eyes. I feel you're very tired. I'm okay. I'm okay. But you're standing there in front of him. You're not throwing your complete combinations, son. Bobby, take this. Wait. Breathe. Come on, motivate yourself. Let's go. You know how to do the fight. Control the fight.
Broner said that every time he looked at the possibilities in this fight, it seemed easier and easier to him, and he is backing it up.
Round 8 of a scheduled 12. Given the punishment he's taken, it's fairly impressive that DeMarco's made it this far. Broner is racking him up round after round. We saw the texting numbers at the bottom of the screen, which demonstrated 50% of fight fans pretty brave on DeMarco's behalf.
The thing you gotta like that Broner does is anytime DeMarco does throw 2 or 3 punches, Broner hits him with a good headshot between those punches to make him stop.
DeMarco swinging away with the straight left hand. Only got a glancing blow. Broner's landing solidly with these short, tight, hard shots. More uppercuts.
Broner just having his way right now. DeMarco not doing nothing to change, like Harold said, nothing to change the strategy of the fight. So he's giving Broner everything he wants, which is to stay right inside with him and let him throw those pop shots.
Well, it looks almost like he's trying to tire Broner out by taking punches.
Down goes DeMarco on a swinging left hook.
And they're waving a white flag in DeMarco's corner.
DeMarco's been knocked down in his career. He was stopped on his feet against Valero, and they wave a white flag of surrender, as Larry points out, in DeMarco's corner, and Adrien Broner has a technical knockout victory.
Well, if this was Broner's equivalent of Mayweather's fight with Corrales, he did what he wanted and what his supporters were hoping for.
9th round technical knockout win for Adrien Broner. Heavily decorated American amateur trainer Michael Stafford has his finest professional fighter ever. They hug in the center of the ring as Antonio DeMarco's cornermen surround him on the canvas in the far corner, hoping that their fighter has not been too badly damaged by the beating he took tonight.
Wow. Here you see Broner hitting, throwing body shots, followed by that right uppercut, then followed by another hook, another right to the body. He had a good body and head attack, followed by left uppercut, and down goes DeMarco.
And let me correct it, not a 9th round TKO, an 8th round TKO. Broner closed the show in round 8, landing 37 of 45. Let me say that again. 37 of 45 power shots. That's target practice.
And that's what it was. The quicker hands took total control of the fight early, and he maintained control.
Now this replay should show you the white towel flying into the ring.
Actually, he was holding it.
There it is, yes. White towel being waved by Romulo Cararte Jr., the son of the trainer. And now Broner's father. And now let's throw to Michael Buffer for the official particulars on the TKO.
Ladies and gentlemen, here in Atlantic City, New Jersey, referee Benji Estevez calls a halt to the bout. The official time, 1 minute, 49 seconds of round number 8. The winner by TKO victory and new WBC lightweight world champion, now a 2-time champion of the world from Cincinnati, Ohio, Adrien, the Problem Broner.
Well, Antonio DeMarco was a statue-type target. A still head, as Roy Jones pointed out early on, still feet, as Harold Letterman pointed out later on, and here are the numbers that demonstrate the implications of that. Broner landing 148 more punches, throwing exactly 100 more. The power punch numbers, pretty astonishing. 216 out of 373. 58%. We've often said if you land 50% of your power shots, you're going to win the fight. You're probably going to knock your opponent out. Antonio DeMarco's at decent numbers, but they simply didn't mean anything against the kind of punishment that Broner was able to put on him throughout the fight. Punch zone stats, and you can see where Broner was landing his punches on DeMarco. 181 shots to the head, 60 to the body. DeMarco had, as I mentioned, decent numbers against Broner, landing 35 body shots with his right hand, but at the end of the day, couldn't really do anything to stem the tide, stop Broner's come-forward advantage, and Broner only gave up 1 round in winning the fight. That's on Harold's unofficial scorecard. Now here's Larry with the winner.
Thank you, Jim. Congratulations, Adrien. Oscar De La Hoya came to me right after the fight and said, you know something about this kid? He likes to fight. You're more than just a boxer, he's implying. You want to be known as a fighter. True?
If I had a choice, I'd be a playboy, Larry. But
you can be both at the same time, as a few fighters have been.
I mean, you know, as you can see, you know, once I'm in there, when I got a game plan and I see something, I go after it.
Which was?
You know, I was gonna do exactly what I did. Shake them up, shake them, bake them, cook them, and eat them. No homo.
Were you sure that he would just keep coming at you, that he didn't have the alternative of trying to stay outside and box you?
I knew coming in this fight, he was going to come to fight. He's a world-class fighter. I want to thank Team DeMarco for taking a chance and taking this fight. I want to thank Al Heyman. I want to thank Golden Boy on our promotions. And the biggest I want to thank is God. You know, without him, I couldn't be here. But to answer your question, no. Coming in this fight, I knew he wouldn't have the skills and the will to beat me.
Did you want to put on the kind of dominating performance that your supporters were hoping that would elevate you in some way to a higher level of this game?
You know, to be honest, no disrespect, Larry, but I wanted to make a statement that anybody that fight Adrien Broner and sign that contract, then step to some doo-doo, they can't get off the shoe.
So where do you go from here? You've just beaten and beaten up probably the highest ranked lightweight in the world. Do you want to stay here? Do you want to challenge bigger guys? Do you have to?
To be honest, man, it's up to my management team, Al Heyman and Golden Boy Promotions and R&R Promotions. And, you know, I really don't care who I fight. Anybody can grab that rope to hang themselves. It's like they playing hangman. They at the last ladder.
Thank you for an outstanding performance. Champ.
I want to thank you, Larry, and I want everybody to follow me on Instagram at Adrien Broner and on Twitter at Adrien Broner. Holla at me. Fresh, fly, flashy, Mr. HBO. I'm going to run this city for a long time. I'm going to run the world for a long time.
I have to say, most of us would like to follow you right here in the ring.
That's right.
Jim.
All right, thank you very much, Larry. Tremendous performance by Adrien Broner. He has openly stated that he believes he can become the best American fighter of his generation, the best fighter in the world. He did nothing in the ring tonight to deny the possibility that that could ultimately happen down the road. It was a spectacular performance against a good opponent. Adrien Broner's skyrocketing career continues to go straight up. Meanwhile, if you missed the stunning upset with which the evening began here in Atlantic City, we want to give you a look back at it right now. On the right, Johnathon Banks, a heavy underdog against Seth Mitchell, the unbeaten former Michigan State football player. But in the second round, suddenly Banks laid a trap for Mitchell. Mitchell overreached with a left hand. Banks countered with a right and knocked him down. Mitchell never regained his equilibrium as he tried to fight his way out of problems with Banks. As Banks pointed out very intelligently later, when he grabbed me, he grabbed my waist. He didn't grab my arms. He left my arms available to punch. And Banks was ultimately able to floor Seth Mitchell 3 times in the second round, upend his unbeaten career, and deliver a victory which everybody thought was impossible because of the circumstances under which Johnathon Banks fought. A 15-year student and protege of the late Emanuel Stewart, given the responsibility within the past few weeks of having to train Vladimir Klitschko for his title defense against Mariusz Bach last Saturday night. He fit his own training in among the workouts with Klitschko, getting up at 5:30 in the morning to get in a morning workout, working in the afternoon, and then full sweat going to work with Klitschko for 2 hours. Came off of that, flew from Europe to Detroit, went to the memorial service for Emanuel Stewart Tuesday morning, came here under circumstances which made it seem absolutely impossible that he could be focused on the fight, knocked Mitchell out in 2 rounds. Somewhere off in the universe, Emanuel was cheering, as was Vladimir Klitschko over in Europe, who may conceivably now become a next opponent for Johnathon Banks. Absolutely an astonishing story which took place on the undercard here tonight, followed by the great Broner win. Now, thanks very much for being with us on this special edition of HBO's World Championship Boxing. Next on HBO, stay tuned for the first installment of 24/7 Pacquiao Marquez. We'll begin the run-up to the 4th fight between Manny Pacquiao and Juan Manuel Marquez with a look back at the 3 fights that forged, one of boxing's greatest rivalries. This Tuesday night, don't miss the premiere edition of The Next Real Sports with Bryant Gumbel. And next Saturday night, join us for a terrific matchup in the welterweight division as Roberto Guerrero, the Ghost, faces Andre Berto, and Carlos Quintana against Keith Thurman on the undercard. Now for our entire HBO crew, thanks for watching from Atlantic City, New Jersey. I'm Jim Lampley. Good night.
This has been a presentation of HBO Sports.